Good evening to Justice Balakrishnan. It's a pleasure to see him there. And good evening to everybody who's attending this show, uh, including the students. It's a pleasure to be on this because the aim of this particular uh, endeavor is unique. The aim of this endeavor is to create knowledge marshals, young people who understand, who research, who find out all possible things about India and what can be done in the future. I strongly believe that it is the younger generation which will take India to greater heights. And towards that extent, I think this endeavor is going to be a milestone in this march towards betterment of the country. Uh, knowledge marshals need to not only know what is happening now, but they need to also create a foundation of what has happened in the past. What is our history? A glorious history. Where did we go wrong? So that they can find out methodologies to correct and do course corrections if you come to a wall or you come to some impediment. And they must understand that it is not just what they're learning from history, but what they're also learning is that history has a tendency to repeat itself. And if you do not understand history, then you will suffer that repetition and all the problems that you had earlier. So, endeavor that is meant for the future, but with strong foundations of what has happened and what is happening is going to make up the bulk of the knowledge marshals that
So mic बंद हो गया sir. Mic has been.
So I'll stop here and let Amit, who's exuberant and absolutely gung ho about this project, to take over.
General Saab, thank you so much. Former Chief of the Indian Army and the current Minister of State in handling two important ministries of the government of India. You've been a pillar of strength for all of us for the last 1.5 years. When we met about this initiative, the idea was to finally bring on board the school students, 15 lakh plus of them across the country. It's not about a GK, it's not about general awareness. According to me, the vision that I had in mind and probably echoed, the sentiments were echoed by leaders of probably same kind of mindset, similar mindset, like General Abhay Gupta, who's also joined us, the chief of the NSG, who has joined us when Azmal Kasab had attacked Taj. Let us welcome and let us applaud Mr. Abhay Gupta. Major General Abhay Gupta is there, the head of the NSG. I wish that all of us can applaud him. Major General Abhay Gupta ji, thank you, sir, for joining us. He was somebody who led the NSG operations during the 26/11 Taj attacks in Bombay. He's joined us, and the idea is to make the students, these kids, come to meet, see, understand, observe, start thinking, direction, understand the facts and figures, the realities. The way of thinking has to be evolved as to who actually did what. What is today? Today is the Republic Day, but what is the difference between 15th August 47 and 26 January 1950? Why Republic Day is different from Independence Day? What happened in those 3 years between 47 and 50? It was a dominion. So what is a dominion? Then NSG, what is NSG? What did NSG do in 26/11? Who led the operations? Yes, we have a movie releasing on Major Sandeep Unikrishnan, the Ashok Chakra martyr, the great martyr. But yes, there was an NSG team, the entire team which led the show. Now we'll be discussing these things as we move along over the next few months and years to sensitize these kids to understand and start thinking rationally, start thinking, looking around things beyond the mobile phones that they have in their hands, including my own son who's on the show today, Warij. So, and let me also now quickly bring in Narendra ji. Narendra ji, a small opening remark from you, sir, before we proceed. Former CMD, IOB, Indian Overseas Bank. Mr. Narendra, if you can hear me. Else we go to Mr. Charan Singh. Charan Singh ji, your opening remarks on subject, sir. Former CMD, Punjab and Sindh Bank, excellent speaker. Look forward to listening from you, sir.
First of all, I must congratulate you for this excellent initiative. It is very much needed. And the timing of it is extremely important when the Prime Minister has said that he's looking for 100 years of India, and we are in the 75th year in the Amrit Mahotsav. Your starting this program is extremely, extremely important, and I must congratulate you for that. It's very interesting to know that in the recorded history, we have a civilization of 5,000 years. And in these 5,000 years, we have excelled. Today, America accounts for 20% of GDP, but for nearly 3,000 years, we accounted for more than 20% of GDP. At one point of time, for 2,000 years at a stretch, we accounted for 33% of world GDP. You can imagine how rich a country we were. And you can imagine why all across the planet, others had an urge to come and discover India. And that is how important India was. Over 800 years of the rules that happened before the British joined us, and 300 years of the British rule, the richest country on the planet was reduced to poverty. How did that happen? As respectable General V.K. Singh mentioned, it's very important to understand and analyze what were the factors which led us on the downhill, so much so that within 300 years, we were plundered, looted, and the museums of the UK today are important because all that plundering sits there. That is what our children have to know. I must also say, before 1100 years, before the Mughal rule and the British rule, if you look at India, there are amazing facts which our children need to know. And once they know, you will realize that the self-esteem and respect for the country and its civilization will go up manifold. I'm an economist, and I must tell you that the modern day economics is nothing compared to the economics that was practiced in that India. And there are studies which show that in our literature, there are numerous principles of economics that are very important. Most important, before I close, is the sustainability concept. How come within 300 years of modern economy, we are on the verge of global warming and climate crisis? And how come for 5,000 years when we were the richest, there was total sustainability? We had never heard of waste dumps as we hear them in modern world today. How come Indians used to live nearly 150 to 200 years against the modern lifespan of less than 80 years? There is so much to learn from India. And if you see the historical facts, I must tell you, the Prime Minister has done laudable work. Have you just noticed? He brought out the Veer Bal Divas. India's history is so rich. Have you ever heard, have the Indian students heard about Rani Abake Chauta or Rani Chanamma or Rani Onake? These are our gems which we have never celebrated. So I must congratulate you once again, bringing out an opportunity for our children. It takes 20 to 25 years as a gestation lag when the education sets in and sets the university its own prestige and glory. 25 years from today, if you start this effort, we will have an army of young children, youth, who would have pride in their country and ready to offer their shoulders to make it the best country in the world, which we were for many nations. That civilization doesn't exist anywhere. Only India had the unique honor of having that. And you are helping our children learn about it, dig it from the history, and then take the world further. I must again congratulate you, and I congratulate you for your effort. Excellent effort. Thank you.
Charan Singh ji, thank you so much for your encouraging words. Former CMD, Chairman and Managing Director for the kids. CMD is Chairman and Managing Director for any organization. Now, he was CMD for Punjab and Sindh Bank, one of India's top banks. And let me, quickly, it's a kind of a, let me make it a little more interesting. Who was the last emperor? Mughal. He talked about Mughals. Who was the last emperor? Any of the kids can answer this fast. Last Mughal emperor, fast. You don't have time for this right now. Any of the kids? Lakshya, anyone? Last Mughal emperor, Bahadur Shah Zafar. True. Okay, he talked about Ranis. He talked about various queens who did so much in the country's independence and beyond that. When was the National Child Day, Girl Child Day? When was the National Girl Child Day? Just 2 days back. Day before yesterday, we had the National Girl Child Day. Who was the first Ashok Chakra lady winner of this country? This is open to all. First lady Ashok Chakra winner. Open to all. Justice Saab, except you, sir. General Saab, I will not spare you today. I will not spare you today. Who was the first lady Ashok Chakra winner? Neerja Bhanot. 86. 86. The plane was hijacked to Pakistan. She got the first. Ashok Chakra is the highest civilian military gallantry award, peacetime one, which is awarded to people. Even civilians are entitled to get Ashok Chakra. And as a lady, as a girl, Neerja Bhanot was the first. And the only second woman who got it is Constable Kamla Kumari in the 2001 Parliament attack in 2001. She got hit by 11 wounds of the bullets and she died on the spot, saving the parliamentarians of this country. General Saab, I'm sure you'll echo the sentiments. Now we move forward. We now bring on board Admiral Sulin Lambaji, former Chief of India's Navy. Former Chief of India's Navy is on the board. Sir, your opening remarks, sir.
Thank you, General V.K. Singh, Justice Balakrishnan, ladies and gentlemen. Our nation has a great future ahead. And to move ahead, we must know where we have come from. And that is where it is very important for all the young people of a nation to know what is India's history. And in my opinion, we need to rewrite our history because at the moment, a very large segment is focused on the colonial period of our history. I think our legacy goes back much further than that. If you look at our maritime history itself, it's a very rich history going back 5,000 years. And there was a stage where Indian seafarers were the prima donna over the entire Arabian Sea, Bay of Bengal, all the way to Japan and Korea. In the east and in the west, there was a flowing trade with the Roman Empire based on the back of Indian seafarers. So if the nation has to move forward, our young people must know where we are coming from and what is our heritage and legacy that is. And I think this is a great initiative by Mr. Goenka. And I think it'll do a world of good to get young people up to speed and know what a great nation we have been and what a great future we have. Thank you very much.
Second opening remarks, and I must compliment you, looking extremely handsome like people from Navy look generally. That is what General V.K. Singh used to remark when Admiral Dhawan also came to the show. Before I bring in now Ajit Apteji, your camera is off. Brigadier Ajit Apte has also joined us, celebrated soldier of the Bangladesh Liberation War. He is somebody who has been the opening batsman for the Vision series over the last 1 year. And since he's busy somewhere, probably we'll bring in Narendraji. Narendraji is a former CMD of the Indian Overseas Bank. Your opening remarks, sir.
Yeah. Let the outset, I wish everybody a happy Republic Day. And I also recognize the presence of our General V.K. Singh ji, Justice Balakrishnan, and all the eminent personalities in this particular today's special program. As Sharan Singh and all of others also complimented you, Amit Goenka ji, for your initiative to have more than 5 lakh, what you call the knowledge journals or generals in terms of
knowledge marshals.
Marshals. Yeah, they are the marshals from by 2000. That is when we achieve 100 years. So it is as already mentioned, knowledge is very much important for all of us as a power. And with the knowledge, you can gain and you can achieve and you can overcome and you can get success everywhere we go. So as India, as we give more and more focus with the new education policy for putting a lot of technical and other academic knowledge and the what you call information and data and technology and all that to the students, they must also possess our historical as well as the futuristic what you call, what are the opportunities India possess. And in that respect, recent days, the startups have created a big what you call unicorn, and the number of unicorn startups from India has been exceedingly number evaluation, and all of them have been created by young what you call professionals after a certain years of experience in working various IT related or other e-commerce or other fintech and other knowledge related company. They have gone in for more and more such new innovation, and the innovation has been the hallmark, particularly during the last 2 years of COVID, even in health sector, where we need quite a lot of innovation to reach out the health facilities to nook and corner of such a lost India. These new age technology companies have come out very well, and they also took the advantage in terms of IPO and a good lot of money, and they are able to also absorb quite a lot of staff. In a sense, they are the employment generated also along with the technology. So these youngsters, I find that with the what type of facility we are having in the educational field, they also will uh, have the more knowledge in terms of enterprises, and we need more new enterprises, because historically our big corporates and others have made a good name, but the way in which we need more number of enterprises, as Charan Singh has also said, the amount of our manufacturing contributing to GDP has been hardly around 15 to 60%. So whereas we are supposed to go even up to 30%, and unless the manufacturing particular and also exports and along with the services and the other services like agriculture also has gone for high tech agriculture. So in every field of these activities, there is an opportunity for introducing technology related product and technology related services and technology related value added. So I am sure your vision of creating 5 lakh knowledge what you call
Marshals.
marshals will be definitely needed, as we feel that these number which will get multiplied, because it is like once you have initiated, there will be so many other institutions will have the opportunity to collaborate and take this to the multiplier effect, including with the government or without the government and every private initiatives. And these students also will have to embrace lot of role models. Now historically we have role models, we have in the current generation there are role models, and those role models of leaders who are super achievers, and they have created value for the institution. They have built, they are the institutional builders, and they have brought the value to the India and value to our society. So in terms of that, the concept of ESG also plays a very important role, where we need to protect environment, we have to be socially governed, and we should have a good governance practices. I think such new concepts will have to be brought out in the early education itself to these young students, so that the ESG compliant organization and ESG compliant or ESG respected individuals are the need of India, where we need to really care for the nature, and we have to
Thank
care
you.
for
Narendra ji,
the
thank you
climate.
so much. These
So
are
I'm
opening
sure,
remarks.
okay, I know the timing. So Amit ji, that such as initiative, nobody would have, but you being always innovative, and with the lot of support and well-wishers like these luminaries, you have taken this initiative. I congratulate you, and I will also will be with you in your endeavor to make this great success. Thank you.
Jai Hind, sir. Thank you so much. Narendra ji, former CMD of IOB. We've been joined by Lieutenant General Rao Kamula Rao ji. He is one of the top patrons of the forum's Amrit Mahotsav series. Kids, and Narendra ji spoke about 3 sectors, agriculture, manufacturing, and services. This is what you need to understand. We've been joined by people from the academia also. Mr. Pradeep Agarwal is there. I think he represents Heritage Group of schools. It's one of the top schools in the country which produces all the ICSE toppers, if I correctly remember, in class 10 and 12. Am I right, Pradeep ji?
Yeah, ICSE topper, and this year we also produced the All India topper in IB and as well as IGCSE.
Okay, good.
400 out of 100. So this is the international achievement. And just last night, one of our trustees, the chairman of Engineering College, got Padam Shri. It was announced, Mr. P.R. Agarwala.
So it's wonderful. Pradeep ji, it's a wonderful moment. It's a wonderful moment to welcome people like you, because you people lead the education thing in this sector in this country. So before I bring you in for opening remarks, let me quickly bring in Brigadier Ajit Apte, one of the leaders of the Bangladesh Liberation War, opening batsman, one of the chief patrons, Brigadier Ajit Apte ji.
Thank you, Amit. Firstly, congratulations on this very fine initiative. General V.K. Singh, Admiral Lamba, and many other experts have already given their views. So I'll just say this much, that our youth of today needs to understand what is our historical background. Why is it that so many other types of people and so many other types of countries could plunder us and come in and we accepted it? Whether it was the British, the French, the Mughals, the Portuguese, whosoever they be, there was a reason why they could successfully establish themselves in India for up to nearly 400 years. And therefore, when the partition or the independence of the country was achieved, all that had happened is important for the young boys and girls to know. The education system, the teachers, the principals, those who are on the board of directors of various schools and colleges and institutes must ensure that the youth of today, especially as you look forward to the century of independence forthcoming in the next 25 years, must understand what exactly happened, why did it happen, and how did we allow it to happen, and how can we now prevent it from happening. So that is most important. On that note, I will just say that it's time our students put themselves and apply themselves logically to build the nation, and let us forget what the differences are, whether they be political or whatever they be. But let us not get mired into these petty things and work together for the nation itself. That, I think, will be the biggest example what the youth can follow, and it is up to our generation to exhibit it effectively. Thank you.
Yeah, as Mr. Narendra was pointing out, historics, and a lot of you guys have already spoken about history. Students need to start, the kids of the age of say 8, 9, 10 to say probably 16, 17, 20, 21 need to be sensitized towards the right way of thinking. It's not only about getting facts about history, getting the facts and figures, because history again is something which has been, kind of a thrust upon us also. So it is also about understanding the contemporary issues. When we talk about, so for example, an Indian cricket team. Now, do the students understand? Does the country understand that there is nothing called the Indian cricket team? It's a team representing a trust called BCCI, Board of Control for Cricket in India. It's not the official cricket team of the country. This is what the difference is, because the Supreme Court had passed, the lawyers representing the BCCI have said, we don't represent India, we represent BCCI. And even the emblems that they use are the British Raj emblem. It is not the Ashok Chakra that they're using on their emblems. And they are not authorized to use that as well. And they do not have a federation also. So these are contemporary, real, thoughtful issues that have to be understanding. Now, let me quickly bring in the hero of the 26/11 Mumbai attacks, Taj attacks, Major General Abhay Gupta, the person who led the NSG, National Security Guards, IG Operations 2008. Major General Abhay Gupta, say your opening remarks.
Thank you, Amit ji. General V.K. sir, Justice Balakrishnan, and all eminent panelists here, a very hearty Republic Day greeting from my side. Being from the security and defense services, I would like to draw attention to our rich heritage that we had of martial art and martial performance, which unfortunately got subjugated in the last 300 to 400 years. So it is time now that we give prominence to this aspect of the national life. Drawing an analogy from the environment, we all are now worried about air pollution. So the environment of security provides everything else to grow within a nation. Hence, it should not be considered as an adjunct, but it should be a primary focus. And therefore, as we learned in NDA, a healthy mind in a healthy body would go a long way to empower the youth. A word about NSG. As you are all aware, it is a specialist force where people volunteer and serve on selection for a period of 3 to 5 years. So all the young children who are aspiring for uniformed service must also aspire to serve sometime or the other in NSG. Thank you, Amitji, once again, and I hope that I can contribute in your endeavor. Thank you.
Thank you, Major General Abhay Gupta ji. So, young kids and whoever will be listening to this recording as well going forward, because this is a one-time launch. This launch will not be repeated. And I'm sure the kids will definitely love to hear more from Major General Abhay Gupta, because Sandeep is not amongst us, but the movie is going to be released soon. But definitely Major General Abhay Gupta is there. Quickly, let me bring in now Lieutenant General Kamula Rao, one of the finest speakers that the forum has had for the last few months.
Dear Amit and all the panelists who are here, I think it's a great occasion. For that matter, what a lead Amit has taken, because initially when he started, I was a little hesitant as to which direction I'm moving. And within one episode or 2 episodes of my attendance, I realized that here is a person who's got the direction correct and who's got the go in him. So let me compliment Amit for a great initiative. And I think it's important that to recapitulate that those who forget history is something like, a tree not knowing its roots, a leaf not knowing which part of the tree it is. So it's very important that history, which is unfortunately being depicted in a fashion which is not truly factual, is being brought to the fore. And I'm sure the children are very, very fortunate to have a person like Amit taking such initiative and getting such eminent panelists on to speak on this. Wish you all the very best, Amit. I'm very sure lucky are those who are able to listen to. Thank you.
Thank you, General Rao, for your encouraging words. Okay, kids, and this is open to all. I mean, Union territories, as somebody was pointing out, like Portuguese, French. You know what was under the control of the Portuguese and what was under the control of the French for a long time? Anyways, figure it out. Let me quickly bring in now Mr. Waklu, who is a former CMD of TCIL, one of the mini Ratna companies of India. Sir, your views on the subject.
Thank you, Amitji, for providing me this opportunity of sharing my thoughts. General V.K. Singh, Justice Balakrishnan, and other eminent panelists, it's a pleasure to be here today in the afternoon. Well, my thoughts, initial thoughts on this. First, before I start that, I want to share with you how I'm involved with education as such. Years back, Dr. Kalam offered a project called Pan-Africa E-Network to the whole of Africa. And I was lucky that at TCIL, we implemented this project on behalf of the country in 48 countries for education and health services. And 22,000 students from Africa got their degrees without leaving their country from Indian universities. And also, there was a lot of capacity building in the health sector. Anyway, with that successful project, Dr. Kalam used to ask if we can do it for Africa, why not India? That is the time when I started doing a sort of I would say a manthan. And I realized that there is a big challenge in the rural India. We have 6.5 lakh villages and 70% of India lives there. And, this initiative which you talked about, creating knowledge marshals, that will be incomplete without creating knowledge marshals from the rural areas. Now, what is the challenge there? The challenge there is not that there are no school buildings in many such villages. But the challenge is the teachers. The teachers themselves have been taught in a very shabby fashion, and it is garbage in, garbage out. You get poor quality teachers, you'll get poor quality students. So that needs to be addressed. That is one part. Second is about the higher education. There are a lot of people who get left out. They may not score 99% marks, they may score 90% marks. That doesn't mean they are useless, but the whole education system is such that they don't get to see these educational institutions. For these reasons, they are not rich enough to tap such. And can we address these issues? Yes, we can leverage technology. Maybe I'll discuss about that later if there is time. It can be done as we did in the case of Africa. It can be done. This is so far as improving the quality of education is concerned. And I fully agree with the other panelists. We have been taught in our young days, and I have a big grudge, all junk history. We have been given a complex that we are good for nothing. When I read our ancient Puranas and I realize that we were very much advanced in technology, in science, in mathematics. So all this needs to be taught to the young people. And also, besides that, there are a lot of people who go into, I would say, jobs too early. They miss on schooling, but they are very talented people. So we need to also take care of this particular section, and I'm sure with technology we can even do that. And also people with physical challenges, with special needs, all these things we can create real education, marshals in education, and who will stress on sustainability, spirituality, because education is supposed to be liberating. So this is something which is a dream, and I feel that maybe on this platform it can be met. Thank you very much.
Akluji, thank you so much. Yes, this is a platform which will, start instilling the process of thinking, not only placing before the students the right approach to think, also the facts and figures which have been distorted over time. Because we've had a lot of these fine minds, the finest minds of this country, who have now joined the bandwagon, because this is now a kind of a mission to create the next generation for the next 25 years. Because we've done whatever we've done for the last 25 years. And this would not have been possible at all without the kind of people we have today with us. General V.K. Singh and Lieutenant Rao and all these people, Narendra ji, all of you guys, you've been a recent kind of a joinee, but all these guys have been there for the last 1 year. Through the thick and thin of the summers, they've been with us. Now, Fit India program, recently the Ministry of Youth had organized a Fit India quiz over the last few months, and they had the entire country participating in it. And the unfortunate part is, even if you ask today the students that what was Russia's position in the last Tokyo Olympics, the answer would be, suppose there's a kid here, what was Russia's position in the last Olympics, 2022, 2021 Olympics? Who is the kid here? Warich, tell me. What was Russia's position in the last Olympics? So you got 3 seconds. Okay, you don't know the answer. Russia didn't participate in the Tokyo Olympics. It was not allowed to participate. The Russian athletes participated under the banner called Russian Olympic Committee. Now, Justice Balakrishnan, former Chief Justice of India, the honorable chief guest for the evening, and somebody who's been supporting us. Justice, what are your views on this initiative, and do you think this is going to be efficacious in building a strong nation in the next 25 years?
General V.K. Singh, Sunil Lambaji, Narendra, Mr. Abhay Gupta, Mr. Vibel Baklu, and Ms. Goenka and other distinguished participants. I'm very happy that we are initiating on the knowledge creation, because last 2 years, the pandemic period has greatly affected our educational system. Our students were participating in educational form in one form or another, but the debilitating effect on this pandemic is one on education and the other on our judicial system, because a trial is not taking place. We have to make an Herculean effort to meet these challenges, how to get over these difficulties in the education. It is said even if all the students try, there is only 70% marks, they will not be able to get even more than 70% of marks, even if they make the best efforts, because the education is only through the digital form. So our temples of education are closed, virtually closed for the last 2 years. This is something which it must have happened in other countries also. But this will have serious effect on the intellectual faculties of the great children. Our children are talented, and I am happy that Amit Goenka has initiated a new wave for making it to get over these difficulties. That too, on a day when the Constitution of India, the supreme law of the land, which has transformed India, a country of countless diversity, into one nation. The Constitution of India has not only introduced the parliamentary democratic republic and political system in the country, but it has also assured equal rights and equal protection of law to every citizen without discrimination as to religion, caste, class, creed, language, race, or birth. So in this wonderful day that we are celebrating this day, it will have wonderful effect on our children. I wish all success for this effort. And Amit Goenka, whenever any sort of help is required, we will all put our efforts to make our children the great source of inspiration, great source of moving forward this country to one of the best country, and even now it is best country. Move forward to a great nation. Thank you very much for
thank you so much. Thank you so much. I will keep pushing you not only for these things but also for issues like why don't you ban commercialization of games for kids, because kids like my son, they've been stealing money. They've been stealing money from the wallets of their mothers. Okay. Now on a serious note. On a serious note, let me quickly, bring in General VK Singh. The things are, it's a general knowledge kind of thing, knowledge martials. We need to sensitize students. One question for you, sir. What are the 3 key events that marked India's history on 25th of June? Unmute yourself, sir. Sir, unmute yourself. आपका म्यूट हो गया.
It has been the emergency which dominates the Indian mind when you talk of 25th of June, and that's something I think needs to be also understood, the how and why of it, as also what is it that has been done to ensure that such a thing doesn't happen. And I think that is where we will have Justice Balakrishnan telling us and the students as to what can be done to safeguard and ensure that we do not go through similar things in the future.
There was a complete usurping of autonomy for freedom of, liberty, freedom, everything that happened on the 25th of June, 1975, proclaimed as the Black Day for the Indian democracy by many. But there were 2 more other important things that come to my memory, because the question that is asked to you from a general knowledge perspective, 3 events. The second event on 25th June was in '83 when India won the Cricket World Cup. And the third event was the marriage day of General Dr. VK Singh. Okay.
Are you relating it to the usurping of the autonomy?
It was. I'm sure you will not disagree that it was nothing sort of an emergency for you. quickly bring in Mr. Pradeep Agarwal. Pradeep ji, you lead a educational group which produces toppers in this country. The ICSE and the International Baccalaureate System of Education. You've been saying that you've been producing toppers. Your take on this initiative?
I think every child is a topper. We are our vision is to create the global citizens, and all-round development is the key USP for for us. So here I would like to mention one more thing, that I was listening, that there is a introduction of NEP and its implementation, as you already did one or two. So NEP will definitely bring in lots of flexibility and liberalization for our youth. And second thing is that now next 10 years we have the largest number of youth in our country. We need to guide them in the right perspective. Which steps? One of the steps you are taking, creating 5 lakh soldiers, knowledge soldiers. It is a very big initiative. I think others should follow. Since you are leading, others should follow, and there is a galaxy of panelists here. So I should not talk too much, but definitely we can say that this is a century of innovation and startups. So even a class 6 standard student is going for startups. Recently, we have seen in the distribution by the President of India, there were 3-4 events in last 5 days, and even Rashtriya Bal Puraskar was given to the youngest child. So I think talent is there. We need to reinvent ourselves, and we should also think that this COVID situation, this 2 years of COVID, has led to lot of innovation and lot of new resolutions to our world as well as our country. So we are thinking of medical education, we are thinking of liberalization of education, we are thinking of roads and infrastructure, we are thinking of a lot of things. I think because of this 2 years concentration, our mind has been redefined in a different way. And definitely we are trying to connect with our old legacy and heritage, values and culture, with the invent of this EdTech situation. So situation will definitely improve, and I think this is the best time of our country. So next 30 years, I believe that we will lead the world, not the country, we will lead the world. The way we are progressing and the way industrialization and things are happening. So youth is different. Today's youth is different. They don't want, they want clear transparency, and they are very energetic. So you will see all the MNCs today and all the Omicrons are headed by the young guys. So how it is happening? It was previously told that only 50 plus we can take over. Now you see the results. So things are very bright. I feel things are very bright, and we will definitely lead the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pradeep ji. Let me now bring in. I think General VK has had to leave because of his election issues, but no, he's still there. We are lucky to have him still there. General Saab, 10 more minutes. General Saab, 5 to 10 more minutes. You would like to kindly, give your detailed remarks on this initiative. What are the things that we should be taking forward to, and do you think this is going to really be helpful for the students, the kids, especially the youth? Is a huge gamut, but the kids, for example, aged 8, 9, the age of say 20, they need to really know what exactly happened, what happens, what is happening around them. Start thinking, what's a union territory, what's a state, why is a union territory created, why it is different from a state, these kind of things. What is an emergency, when did it happen, why did it happen, all these kind of things. Your views on this subject?
Amit, what I would say is that, in our generational era, there are many things that we feel are something that will help. I would, on the other hand, like you to interact with the students and ask them first. They are, let me tell you some of them are way ahead of times. And whatever we work out should be a collaborative effort. It should not be, something which we are trying to tell them, and after some time the person doesn't want to listen. I think it needs to be a very collaborative effort, and an effort in which we have segments of various things. A bouquet which energizes him, a bouquet that motivates him, a bouquet that prompts him to carry out further research, and a bouquet that allows him to take the risk of going by his research to do something better. So I would not like to lay down a framework right in the beginning. I think we need to interact with the with the people who are going to gain by this.
General Saab, why I am starting this initiative now is there are things around us which we keep observing, but most of the things either we overlook or we do not look it in the right way, the way we should look at, or we are misled to it. It is not only about a question answer kind of a format that we're going to be having. We are going to be using this initiative to kind of sensitize their mind and make them mature, because we have the finest minds with us in this forum. People like you, people like Abhay Gupta ji, General Rao, Charan Singh ji, Ajit Apte ji, Brigadier Apte, Admiral Sunil Lamba. These kind of people, we've got more than 500 people who are the finest minds of the country who are part of this initiative the last 1 year. And they know the substance and the subject in and out, because this is generally what is not found on the internet. And people don't, for example, when I ask the question, what is the meaning of Indian cricket team? Now there is no Indian cricket team. Now if I ask them, where is Saraswati river flowing? What are the 3 rivers? Saraswati is a mythical river. Most of them are not aware. It's a river in history books which flew probably sometime 5,000 years back. But then there are no remnants of that river flowing on the banks. So these kind of things the students need to understand. What is the meaning of Kumbh Mela? Kumbh Mela happens in Haridwar, it happens in Allahabad, Prayagraj, but what is the meaning of Kumbh Mela? That is what the idea of doing this initiative is. And like somebody like, for example, Mr. Brigadier Apte. Apte ji, you've handled this war in a very big way, Bangladesh war. And recently the felicitation ceremony of the 50th year of celebrations happened. Just give us some 2 or 3 facts about the Bangladesh war. General Saab, please 5 more minutes. Then probably you'll have to run away for the election meeting. I understand. Brigadier Apte, can you throw some 2-3 facts which are not really known to the students, which people don't really come to know across from internet, fiddling on the internet about the Bangladesh war?
Yeah, Amit, in fact, General V.K. Singh is the right person, though we are postmates. But General V.K. Singh was there with me on the Eastern Front, but he rose to be the army chief. He is very much more knowledgeable than what I am. But notwithstanding that, with my dear friend General V.K.'s permission, I shall highlight a few things. Number one is what the youth requires to know is that the then Prime Minister, along with her cabinet and the armed forces, took a very great decision to do something to dispel the tyranny which had been unleashed by West Pakistan on East Pakistan. That is number one. The human rights had been violated. There was plunder. There was a whole lot of arson and looting that was going on, and a large population of the Hindu population had perforce to migrate out from East Pakistan. That is number one. Second is, of course, we were just subalterns that time, but one could have the opportunity of taking decisions. Our seniors had great faith in us. And what we later realized was that it was undoubtedly one of the finest military victories, but it had been garnished with the victory by the politicians, the diplomats. And I'll go one step further by saying it was the victory of democracy against the tyranny of, martial law or whatever you wish to call it. So it was democracy that finally won. The other point is, what the youth must know is the whole world, barring maybe only the Soviet Union, that too later, was all against India. We were actually riding rough and shoddy seas. Indira Gandhi found no support from the superpowers like US. Even the British had sailed their fleet onto the Arabian Sea. The US 7th Fleet had sailed into the Bay of Bengal. But despite that, I think let's give credit to our armed forces, our politicians, the diplomats, and the manner in which we functioned. And let me put one thing here, that there was no, independently, the Army, Navy, and the Air Force functioned in great synergy. I think that itself was a great achievement. The youngsters must know what the country did, what happened 50 years ago, who all laid down their lives, and what ultimately came about is to create Bangladesh as a new nation. So these are historical facts. They must understand the political climate, the diplomatic climate, and finally, it's the armed forces who delivered, and they always deliver. And I'm very proud to say that, having served in the army for 36 years, and I'm a third generation army officer. So I very proudly say that I've always been very happy to have worn the uniform, and if given a chance again, would like to do so. Thank you.
Brigadier Apte, before you hang up or you pass the baton.
Amit, can I just step in?
Yes, sir.
See, what Brigadier Apte said is absolutely apt. Now, what I was trying to mean is, I think we're still scratching the let's say the creation of Bangladesh, and before that East Pakistan. What happened? Does our partition history go only up to 1947? Actually, the partition was worked out by the British in 1919 as part of Minto-Morley reforms. They had decided that India needs to be partitioned on religious basis so that India never gets up again. Now, see, that is why I said what we need to do is, along with the people like Pradeep, work out things as to where we want to make our people understand. You want knowledge marshals, they must understand from where the seed came from, what actually happened, why did it go wrong. I'm quite sure Churchill was a great supporter. He did A, B, and C. Churchill was hobnobbing with Jinnah, guiding him as to how to seek partition. Now, if we don't understand this, we will always go wrong. So there is so much to be understood that there is a need for us to go deep down and then come up in a logical flow, so that you can say, okay, this is what happened, this led to this led to this, and this is what it is today. What do you want as the future? Are you going to succumb to the same things in coming years? No, that is what I meant. And I think that is what we need to do rather than scratch the surface.
What gave me courage to start this initiative was obviously a vision, which was the underlying vision when I started the Amrit Mahotsav with you a year back. But when we keep hearing people like you from the horse's mouth, as they say, we really come to start thinking. That is what made me start thinking about so many things. When you're talking about this partition thing, now Radcliffe, there was somebody called Radcliffe, and somebody brought in from London suddenly, who had no clue about the Indian topography, and he was creating the dividing line for the partition and the premise was sectarian lines. So the sectarian lines, now that is promulgating into a kind of a dividing line, which is created by the Radcliffe, or somebody called Radcliffe, on behalf of the East India or British Raj, not the East India Company, it's the British Raj. Now, what is the difference between British Raj and the East India Company? Now, there's so many things which, these kids need to really know, understand, explore, and that they need not get into the depth of each and every issue around the earth, around them, but they should at least know the basic issues which have been, like, for example, if you talk about, yes, today we have the judge with us, we have the Chief Justice of India with us. What is the difference? What was the Republic Day significance? Why was the Constitution adopted after 3 years? Who did it? Why was it done? Justice Saab, for example, would you like to say something on the Constitution for probably a minute or so?
We attained independence in 1947, August 50th, 1947. At that time, we did not have a constitution. So we wanted a constitution, and the Constituent Assembly was convened, and then they constituted a drafting committee for the preparation of the constitution. Dr. Bhim Rao Ambedkar was the chairman of the drafting committee, and there were other 5-6 members to help him. And it took about 2 years, more than 2 years, to prepare the constitution. And that constitution was presented to the parliament and it was adopted by the parliament. And the constitution came into force on 26 January 1950. That is the Republic Day which we are celebrating today. That they India became a sovereign, independent country. Till that time, India, before the independence of it was a country of several states were there, all put together and became a sovereign democratic republic on 26 January 1950. That is the importance of Republic Day. Then thereafter, the various the states, the union territories, and all formed, and the elections and all this, everybody knows.
So secular, for example, an important issue that the student need to know, probably all of us here would like to know, is introduction of the word secular in the Constitution.
The word secular was inserted in the Constitution. It was not there in the socialist and secular. The secular socialist word socialist was not there in the original Constitution. It was later added. Thereafter, there are several portions which was later added. The 21A, the education, that is right to education also was made a fundamental right later. Then the fundamental duties they were inserted in the Constitution later. So many provisions were added to the Constitution. So but not very serious amendments were made to the Constitution. One of the 73rd amendment, the local bodies, panchayat, municipalities, that was really we can say a major change in the Constitution, that the local bodies were constituted, and many of the functions of the government which diversified and made to the local bodies, municipalities and the panchayat, the district panchayat, the taluka panchayat, and the panchayat. 3-tier panchayat system of administration was adopted, and the various subjects were given to for purpose of administration, and the funds were allocated, and the reservation also was made a part of this selection as members of these bodies. And women reservation in some of these states, 50% of the local bodies members are the women. That is also very important thing that it was based on a report submitted by Dr. L.M. Singhvi, who prepared a detailed report as to the way in which administration of the local bodies are to be done. So that is how thereafter all other amendments are only, we can say, cosmetic amendments. So we have got a very vibrant constitution, judiciary and the public service commission. All these are the constitutional institutions are given, and they all work efficiently. That is the constitution. I can only just briefly say about
Okay, today now we'll get into a little bit of kind of objective with which we have started this initiative. I'll be talking out. Please don't. I know you guys are all esteemed and senior guests and panelists, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy this. A few questions. Anybody's can be answering this question because this is being recorded. This is something which the students will take as an example of the demonstration that we wish to bring on table. Like for example, now let me start a few questions. What is the year in which the Gulf War took place? This is just a small quiz we'll have fast. Anyone can answer. All you guys are all top leaders. Okay, how many places the terrorists attacked in the 26/11 attack? This Abhay Gupta, you go to speak about it. How many places did they attack?
3 places.
As you are aware, oh, this is gone. Sorry, my video went off. They landed at one place.
It's
They
all
broke
working.
into 4 groups, and then they launched multiple attacks. Single attack points were in Nariman House and the complex of Oberoi Hotels, which is actually a twin hotel. Another single point was the Taj Hotel, which is again a twin hotel. Whereas Kasab and his colleague attacked about 3 major places. The old Victoria terminus, now Shivaji Chhatrapati railway station, the hospital, and people en route. So really speaking, these were the places. In addition, they had put bombs, IEDs in taxis. So there were 3 odd taxi blasts in various parts of southern and central Mumbai. So this in brief is the number of places that those were attacked. Thank you.
Let me ask quickly, this is something which is very important. Who is the only Indian to have been awarded both the Bharat Ratna and the highest civilian honor of Pakistan? Charan Singh ji, I'm sure you will have some idea about this. Brigadier Apte, you know you are an avid reader. You have to answer this.
I think it was Morarji Desai.
Oh, hats off, sir. Hats off to Brigadier Apte. I know this guy is going to do something. You know, you are the champion. I must always say you are the champion. He is a historian. He is an avid reader. What a fantastic friend to have on board. Morarji Desai is the only Indian to have been awarded both the Bharat Ratna and the Nishan-e-Pakistan. Now, Nishan-e-Pakistan is the highest civilian honor of Pakistan given to heads of foreign states. It's not the highest civilian honor alone. They also have Nishan-e-Imtiaz, which was given to Dilip Kumarji, the only Indian to have received Nishan-e-Imtiaz. But Nishan-e-Pakistan only to head of foreign states, and Morarji Desai was the only person to have received it. Now, who is the person who got the highest number of Filmfare Awards as a male playback singer? But not the Filmfare Award, the national awards. National awards as a male playback singer. Justice Balakrishnan is smiling. Justice sir, he's from your state. He's from your state. It is Mr. Yasudas. Mr. Yasudas from your own state.
Maybe.
He is the man who received the highest national awards for the male playback singing. Okay, from a banking perspective, when did nationalization happen?
1969.
How many banks?
And that is 69 and 1970, and another one 1980.
Okay, well, can you just throw some light about the nationalization facts?
Yeah. See, the nationalization that time, most of the banks were all owned by industrialists, and they are catering to their own industry groups, and it was not a mass banking, and it was only a what you call exclusive few. These banking used to be there. And also those period, the banks have seen quite a lot of what you call merger, acquisition, and some also went into liquidation. And in that respect, of course, quite a lot of savers would have also been affected. So in that particular moment, India really needed now some amount of directed credit, and also the credit to the hitherto unserved, and see that the those who are not most privileged will also get credit, particularly in the agriculture and allied activities, as well as the other priority sectors like micro enterprises, small industries, retail trade, and wholesale trade. In terms of that, how to have the diversified credit and also have the national objective of reaching to the every Indians in terms of the banking. That was the objective, and accordingly the banks were first nationalized, and in that period those banks who had a total business deposits of about 50 crores were first taken up for nationalization, and that resulted in massive expansion of bank branches, and also that time the 20-point program came towards certain areas of specific sectoral upliftment and credit. And with that social objectives, the banks actively participated in that 20-point program. And subsequently in the 1980, another 6 banks were also nationalized. And if even we have now in the recent budget know that 2 of the public sector banks are going to be privatized, but we feel that there is a necessity of large size public sector bank, and because whether it is under any of the government schemes or even recently our Prime Minister Jan Dhan Yojana also, in all that the massive participation has come from public sector bank only. So we cannot and we have to acknowledge the bankers and those institutions who have played an important role in reaching in terms of the India's what you call overall GDP also. And there is a direct correlation of credit to GDP. The more we give credit, the more the GDP will grow, and that ratio in Indian context is around 50 to 60%, but globally it is more than 135% also. So there is a still vast scope for making this access to the credit, access to the banking, and also now technology has played in large financial inclusion, and those who are financially included will have to be included under the economic inclusion. So Amit ji, aapka question that at that moment of time appropriate the nationalization of banks, and which resulted in more than 24 banks coming under the nationalization, and subsequently now the number has been reduced around 12 banks by merger and amalgamation. But I would, as our FM also has said, that we need a size of State Bank of India of that size, at least 5 big public sector bank, and which is that now in the offing. And if those public sector bank with their reach not only India and globally, they will definitely make India the flag high in the Committee of Nations through the overall contribution of Indian banking in not only in amassing the savings of the people, but in making use of that in productive credit.
This is for the kids. We have to restrict ourselves to objective kind of statements, like which is the oldest bank that India had?
Oh, that I think Imperial Bank 1935. That was the Imperial Bank was the oldest bank. And of course, parallelly, there is a banks like Corporation Bank, Canara Bank, Canara Bank, and all 1906. And other than that, even foreign bank, Citibank, they have completed Citibank, Standard Chartered Bank. They have completed 150 years.
Sir, what about
India.
What about Union Bank of India? Any of the bankers can answer this question. Charan Singh ji is also there. Union Bank of India, it goes back to 1830s, I guess.
Well, the Allahabad Bank is the oldest amongst the nationalized banks as we see now. It was somewhere in 1880 or something. And Punjab National Bank came in 1894. Union Bank came only in 1919. And Punjab Sindh Bank came, my own bank, 1908. So we have lots of banks. There are 11 banks before nationalization which were there. I really like the answer, of course, very detailed by Mr. Narendra, but very, very knowledgeable. And I think I like the answer. I just like to add 2 things. State Bank of India was nationalized in 1955 and Reserve Bank of India was nationalized in 1949. But your question to Mr. Narendra was commercial banks. So I think he gave not only the time, he also gave the history and then the follow-up advantages of nationalization. And he brought it out down till the latest, where he said, now we are thinking in terms of denationalizing, privatizing.
General Kamula Rao just messaged me. General Rao, before you leave, probably one or two questions to you, sir. Sir, what is the full form of NDA and what is the way in which students get admitted to an NDA?
I mean, a lot of people do know about it, the National Defense Academy, and it is based basically on a Union Public Service Commission examination. And I think the way the Indian Armed Forces have been shown today to the nation by their acts of valor, acts of on the border of China with so much of transparency and knowledge which is available on open domains, I'm sure the people are very clear. But let me tell you that there is a huge competition for people to join. It's something like approximately, say, around 3 lakhs people appear for the examination for a vacancies, about 400. That's what used to happen when we appeared. Today, last time I'm told is about 1 lakh plus who appeared for 400 seats. And it becomes tougher because we are fortunate to get the girls also now into NDA, which is a new step which has been undertaken in keeping with any developed nation of equality to all the sex. So from that particular angle, I think National Defense Academy is what one really aspires. Any person who wants to look at quality of life, I won't say that all other professions are corrupt, but at least where the corruption is minimized, or one can boast of it with little or no corruption at all, one. And second, this thing is that you can achieve what you want to. Here is a place where the possibility of influence factors by any external forces is minimal. And I think it's a career worth living, worth dying for what it is, because it's like an elephant. Whether you're alive or dead, your cost is same. That's all I wish to say about NDA or the armed forces.
So NDA is basically the first step towards the army career. And from there, the 3 branches emanate, and they go to specialized 3 colleges: the IMA, the Naval Defense Academy, and the Air Force Academy. What is that called?
Naval Academy. Yeah.
Okay. Now, where is the IMA situated, sir? Is it in Dehradun?
It is in Dehradun. IMA is in Dehradun. The Naval Academy is in Kerala. Then the Air Force Academy is, of course, Dundigal.
Okay. This is the kind of things, people need to understand. Vimal Vakluji, chairman of the public sector company, Miniratna company called TCIL. Vakluji, what is a public sector company and how many public sector companies do we have in this country?
Well, the public sector companies are those companies where the government has a stake, a major stakeholder. Of course, there are 2 types of public sector enterprises in the country. One is the state level and the central level. Well, right now I won't be able to mention the exact number because that keeps changing. There are mergers. There are some of the PSUs have been privatized also. So, but central more than 100 and state must be about 4 or 5 times that, because every state government has got number of public sector enterprises.
Vakluji.
Central, I think, sir, around 400 odd, I think, sir.
What, central public sector companies? No, there are 271 public sector companies at the central level.
Yeah.
270 public sector companies at the central level. And, we have got almost around 14 Maharatna companies now. The question is not how many Maharatnas are there. What the students need to understand, Justice Saab, even with your presence, I would like to point out, you need to understand one thing. Public sector, this is the kind of companies that are owned by the government. There are 14 very big companies. They are called Maharatna companies. Then we have the Navaratna companies. Then we have the Mini Ratna companies. And then we have the small companies. So the Maharatna companies are say 14. The Navaratna companies are say 17 today. Now the question is Navaratna. If we are calling it Navaratna, we should not be having more than 9 companies. But herein we have more than 9 companies as Navaratnas. That is where the way of thinking has to be evolved. The student has to start asking, why do we have more than 9 Navaratnas? Why do we have more than 9 Navaratnas? Why don't we have only 9 Navaratna companies? Because Navaratna means 9. Now, let me now on the closing remarks side, we are closing the show now. Let me quickly now bring in Mr. Pradeep Agarwal ji. Pradeep ji, your closing remarks on this entire initiative.
I think this will lead to a great knowledge society, number one. And number two, let us collaborate with all the sectors, not only the few sections. Let us collaborate with sectors like manufacturing, retailing. There are now challenges of this big challenge, global challenges we should touch upon, like climate change. So all these things are very, very important for our children nowadays. And I would like to just mention one thing, that Swami Vivekananda delivered his lecture in Chicago, and that is World Parliament of Religions. And now the current president is the most probably first Indian president there, Mr. Nitin Ajmera. So we should try to have some connect with him. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay. So your learning is a kind of a process which should continue 2 ways. I have always believed that, and we can always learn from each other. And I'm sure the kind of wonderful kind of institutions that the Heritage Group runs in this country. And I'm surprised that how you've been able to produce toppers of these old educational boards like ICSE and IB. How you've been able to produce toppers in such a short span of time, despite global brands like St. Xavier's, DPS, Don Bosco being there. But Heritage has taken the cake and it's, and is all busy eating it all over. Now, let me now quickly bring in Justice Balakrishnan ji. Balaji, Justice Sir, former Chief Justice of India. Sir, your closing remarks on this subject, sir.
This is a wonderful idea. So we have to make good the laws we sustained in the pandemic period in the field of education. So that is what our purpose should work out, and our students are talented students. Only thing that they must be given the right directions, and this is one such directions which would work. We have got all schools in all the cities in this country. There are very, very important schools. It is not like old time only Dehradun. There were some schools, and one in Calcutta or one in Dehradun. Now in all the cities, we have got very, very bright schools. The students will come up, and that will be. India is not like some of the European countries where old people are living. India is a country of talented young people. That will take us to the new generation. The country will be led by them. We are all old type people. We will only help them to be there at the top, and the India will march forward.
Yes, sir. I was just 3-4 days back. We had a budget meet with all the top corporate honchos on the board, along with you also. We were very lucky to have you twice in the last 4 days. And on such an important day, the day on which Republic was formed, that day we have the former Chief Justice gracing the show of the Vision Summit. Now, just as an example, Pradeep ji, I think you should also listen to this. This kid sitting here, Warij, is in class 5. He's going to be getting into class 6 in St. Xavier's now. The question I asked him is, Acha Waris, tell me, who is the Prime Minister of India?
Narendra Das Modi.
Who is the President of India? Who is the President?
Ramnath Kovind.
Wonderful, wonderful. Who is the Chief Minister of the state you live in?
Mamta Banerjee.
Okay, now listen to this. Who is the governor of the state?
Paratha.
Now, the answer that he gave me a few days, the answer that he gave me few days back was Mr. Sujit Bose, one local councillor or MLA, whatever it is. Then because he is the only person, he keeps listening to the name throughout the day in his locality, in the autos and the rickshaws and the vans, that is where we've reached as a society. He doesn't know the name of the governor, he doesn't know what a governor means. It is Mr. Jagdeep Dhankar, who is the governor today of West Bengal. I told you, Warij. Now, who is the person? Who is the person who scored the highest number of goals in the Football World Cup, Men's Football World Cup? Mr. Miroslav Klose. Which country has won the Football World Cup maximum times?
France.
See, now the question is, these kids, when we grew up as kids, we grew up with Brazil as probably another nationality we were proud of. Isn't it, Pradeep? Isn't it, Pradeep? We grew up with almost as Brazil as our second nationality, you know. And these kids don't even know the name of Brazil. They say France as the country which. Okay, don't do this. Now.
Brazil to max FIFA World Cup wala.
Okay. Now tell me, where was Mr. Kishore Kumar? Who was Mr. Kishore Kumar? Singer, right. So see, all of you, this is the kind of knowledge that the kids of various levels, students of class 4, 5, 6, they are at a different level. When we go to students of 7, 8, 9, I know we have a national education framework, we have a national education policy, everything is in place. But getting the finest minds on one platform, getting them to talk about their experiences, that is what the final idea of this entire initiative is, so that the same can be cascaded to these kids who are going to be the torchbearers of this country, the democracy that we'll stay in. Because, you know, till 17th century, technology drove us to the excellence of the economical kind of powerhood, or what we say at the zenith of economics. We reached because of economics, because of the technological prowess that we had, advantage that we had. Today, technology is towing us down. We are not using technology to our advantage, but we are becoming slaves to technology. That has become the problem. So that is where we need to step in as the current torchbearers of the country to lead these youngsters in the right path and direction. Final closing remarks, closing batsman, Brigadier Ajit Apte. He opens the innings, he closes the innings. That is what we used to enjoy when Sachin used to come and open the innings for us.
Amit, thank you very much. Before Mr. Narendra, of course, gave some wonderful points about nationalization of banks. And Mr. Charan Singh also gave some wonderful information. I just want to highlight one point, which probably both these stalwarts will realize, and so also Justice Balakrishnan, that Indira Gandhi in 1970-71 stopped the privy purse, which was given at the time of independence. And I think that was a major controversial decision when the 26th amendment to the Constitution was done.
Except for the 4 or 5 states, princely states of Hyderabad, Junagadh and all that.
1 minute, I'm coming to it. My point is, there was so much of furor when the privy purses were abolished in 71 that maybe this had some indirect link with the nationalization of banks, because both these were clubbed together as Indira Gandhi's, some people thought Waterloo, but I don't know. But I think it was a good decision. But what the youngsters need to know is, just imagine that the country was getting its freedom and independence, and here there were Maharajas and state rulers demanding an annual payment. I think it's ridiculous. That was a drain on the economy of the country. So whatever Mr. Narendra brought out, I'm sure the cash inclusion would have been much, much more. So it took the country 24 years, sorry, not 24, but yes, 24 years to realize that they should abolish the privy purses. So I think this is an important point. Here a nation is being formed and we are driving out the oppressors, and here the state rulers are demanding money. So that was a major decision taken. in 71, and then of course followed the 71 war, which was Indira Gandhi's moment of glory. So if you look at these points and reflect for our youngsters to think what exactly happened and how did it happen and how we can prevent such things happening in the future, I think all distinguished panelists have given some wonderful points. And this is what we need to take forward when you amalgamate all these together in your initiative. And I think it's a wonderful idea that people should know even that on Independence Day, the flag is hoisted, and on Republic Day, the flag is unfurled from the top. Even these are small little things which the students must know. So on that note, I'll just say, I've learned a lot. The panelists have been excellent. And if there's anyone who wishes to comment on the privy purses, I think that will be very educated. Thank you.
20 lakh rupees annually for the Nizam of Hyderabad. It is what I remember as the privy purse declared, 20 lakhs 50 years back. Can you imagine the drain on the resources of the country? Okay, Justice Saab, we'll close with this. What is an ordinance? Waris, listen to this carefully from the former Chief Justice of India. What's an ordinance, sir?
Ordinance is passed when the assembly or the parliament not in session. When there must be an urgent legislation enactment, a statute is to be created, then the parliament not in session, it is an ordinance is issued. An ordinance requires this. If it is a parliamentary ordinance, it is to be signed by the president, and if it is a state ordinance, it is to be signed by the governor. Then it should be ratified, later ratified by the parliament or the state, depending upon by the assembly. Then it will become the law. Sometimes the ordinances are continuously being extended, but that was deprecated by the Supreme Court. And now, within 6 months, they are presented to the parliament, and the parliament discuss the matter, and it becomes a statute once it is passed by the parliament.
Is it not a tool? Is it not a tool which can be used, hideously by the political leaders, by the Prime Minister?
It could be some urgent legislation is required, so that is a right given to the government. So only thing that
is exactly what Indira Gandhi. That is exactly what Indira Gandhi did, probably on the 24th of or 25th of June, midnight, just 15 minutes before midnight, when she asked Fakhruddin Ali Ahmad to impose the emergency.
That is also done. So I was also say now I saw today's news in Pakistan, Supreme Court of Pakistan, there is a lady judge for the first time.
That's again a wonderful.
That also.
Okay, we'll close this. Now we'll finally close this. One question from you, Mr. Warij Goenka. Master Warij Goenka, you can ask one question to the panelists. Anyone, any question?
Amit, General Abhay Gupta has got some important point.
Sir, yes, sir.
Amitji, I just wanted to say, I hope you can hear me. I just wanted to say that I see this exercise that you have undertaken as one of the major initiatives towards future nation building. The children of today will be the youth and the bread earners of tomorrow. So in that context, I would request you to kindly keep in focus the national integration aspects. For example, the NCC, one of the major aims was to generate this national identity and create national integration. So while I agree with what General V.K. Singh had said, but at the same time, when you are working out this program, you have to have certain modalities. And shall I say that if you see each as a node of knowledge, now you have highlighted the nodes of economy, of culture, of history, of general knowledge, of general awareness. I was trying to say, and others on the panel tried to say, of security related issues. Here, may I request you to kindly think over national integration as one of the fulcrum points. That was what I wanted to put across. Thank you.
Major General Gupta ji, revered soldier of the 26/11 attacks, and somebody who has also been involved in various other intelligence expeditions in the country during his tenure as the NSG chief. Sir, the basic premise of the kind of interactions we will have with the students will be centered around kind of sensitizing or flaring up their mindset towards the thoughts of national integration and relevance only. It is not going to be a general GK kind of sports kaun banega crorepati kind of thing. This is going to be kaun banega desh ka nagrik, acha nagrik, somebody who's going to contribute, and that will in turn contribute to him or her well-being and growth as well. And people like you, if you keep joining and giving inputs like this in the summits that you keep giving, this will add to my value. It will add to my thought process. It will be something which will cascade to the students and then take it forward to the youth and the aspirants of civil services and all those other people also as well. Now, final question from Mr. Master Varij Goenka. Varij, any one question or two questions you want to ask to the panelists? Let us see what they know.
Can I ask you?
Yes, please.
What is Amrit Mahotsav?
What is a?
Amrit Mahotsav.
Now, this is something which takes me absolutely on the back foot. All the kids must have been really scared thinking about what is this Amrit Mahotsav. This is about beta celebrating 75 years of India's independence. And what better way to celebrate India's independence of 75 years than to bring people like these who have been through the 75 years of toil and turmoil and their careers. They come with experiences and share insights which people like you will never come to know generally or off the hook from textbooks or from internet. Any other question?
May I add something?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I think today our children are missing the legacy of joint, where they were getting a lot of knowledge as well as the values and other things. So it's a clear family. So you are trying to create that legacy in some sort of forum so that they can get all this information, all this learning, all these values. It is very, very important because now there is a only nuclear family. 70% of our country's family is nuclear family. Thank you.
Varij, final question and then we end.
No more questions.
Okay. Any one question that you remember from the sports?
Yes,
tennis,
yes.
Tennis, do you remember?
No, from football.
Yeah, ask from football.
Why is Pele known as Black Pearl?
Oh, that question even I don't know the answer. Anybody has the answer to this? Why is he known as the Black Pearl? Now this is a googly, this is a googly, complete googly. Why is he known as a Black Pearl? So you tell us the answer.
Because he was one of the best players in football.
And it's a rarity that is found amidst all the pearls. That's the right answer. Thank you so much. Jai Hind. Look forward to taking this forward in a very, very vehement manner, strong manner. Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All the best.